Hello everyone. It is rightly said, there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. A beautiful quote to begin at today's session. I, Abhishek Shukla, your ICT instructor, Cambridge International School, Dasua, welcome you all in today's e-learning session. And today we are going to discuss about the worksheets which were given to you people at the end of every session. We can say that we are going to conduct a doubt session among you people, and for that this today's visual contents contain few worksheets, and which we are going to discuss about today is the right meaning of every question. And if you people have any doubt, especially in multiple choice questions, then we are here to serve you in today's session. I want you people to kindly pay attention towards the screen and towards the audio for on-screen contents and their responses. So let's begin with the very first worksheet which I have with me, and we'll start with the worksheet which were given to you people recently by the name of revision worksheet for session 1, 2 and 3. If you people want, you can take your hard copies or you can watch the questions on the screen. Let's begin with the first statement. Revision worksheet dated 9 May 2020. Question number 1. Which of these is not a factor of communication cycle? 4 options. Option A, sender. Option B, encoding. Option C, idea. And option D, emotion. And the correct answer for this statement is option D, emotion. Because in communication cycle, we must have sender with us, which is option A. Then sender needs to encode the idea, which are the two options given in the statement, option B and option C. Last, emotion. There is no space of emotion during communication cycle or during communication process. So option D, emotion, is the correct answer. Question number 2. Which of the following involves in written communication? Option A, telephone. Option B, radio. Option C, email. And option D, all of these. And the correct answer for this is email, because here the term is given as telephone, not smartphone. So telephone is a device which is used to communicate orally. Radio, which is again a single media which provides oral contents. Option C, email, where we can write the contents on screen. And option D, all, which is wrong answer, which means only option C, email, is involved in written communication. Question number 3. Which of these is an international system of communicating written messages? Now for this, options are given: A, telegraph. B, fax. C, radio. D, telex. And the right answer for this is telex. Telegraph. You might have heard about telegraph. It is an old method of passing written messages from one place to other place. Fax. Fax means facsimile, which means if we need to send a lengthy message over long distance in the same format, then we can use fax. See, radio. In radio, we cannot communicate messages over international lines. And option D is telex, which is the right answer for this statement. Telex. Let me tell you about the telex. Telex is an international system of communicating through a telephone lines. The better example of telex can be seen in the news or the display train and the flight schedule. Question number 4. The receiver interprets and understands a message through options are encoding, decoding, identifying and realizing. The correct answer for this is decoding, because when receiver get a message from the sender, they first need to decode the message to understand the contents. So decoding is the right option for this. Encoding means when user encode the message with a particular words, symbol or language is means as encoding. Identifying. Identifying is something when the message is fully decoded, then only it can be identified. Realizing is something different. If the sender wants to realize something through the message, and for that receiver first interpret through decoding. So decoding is the right answer. Question number 5. Find the odd term. Options are oral, written, technical and visual. And the right answer for this is technical. Why technical? Because oral, written and visual, these are the types of communication, and technical is the perspective in communication. So option C, technical is the right answer. Question number 6. Dash factor affects the perspective of communication. Option A, feelings, B, past experience, C, language and D, visuals. Dash factor affects the perspectives of communication. Here we can say that all are the right options, which means feelings affect the perspective of our communication. Our past experiences also affect our communication, and language is one of the fundamental tool which can affect our perspective of communication. And last, visual perception is the ability to see. So here in this statement all are the right options, or you can write one option over there like all of these. Now move on to question number 7. Write about pragmatic and psychological perspective of communication. Pragmatic. According to this perspective, communication consists of a system of interlocking, independent behaviors that become a pattern over time. It argues that the act of communication is much like playing a game. Second in this answer is psychological. Theories of communication developed from psychological perspective state that messages are filtered primarily through individuals, not through channels like we discussed in perspectives of communication among technical and psychological is totally different from technical perspective. This perspective assumes that one person's outward behavior affect the cognition or behavior of another person. Now move on to question number 8. Define the following terms: decoding, miscommunication, and idea. Decoding. Decoding is the process of the receiver interpreting the messages. Reading or listening is a part of decoding the message. Next is about miscommunication. Miscommunication or noise, they both are the same things. If the messages are not received or not understood properly by the receiver, it is known as noise or miscommunication, where the communication is not happen actually in a healthy manner. Next is idea. Idea or the message, they both are the same thing. And the messages or the idea is the subject of the communication. The messages can be an order, suggestion, opinion, feelings, attitudes, or views. Simply, whatever the ideas or whatever the communication sender want to convey to the receiver is called as message or idea. Move on to the next question. Next question is, what is communication and what are the different benefits of communication? Here, the meaning of communication is a process of exchanging or sharing ideas, thoughts, feelings, experiences, emotions, and many more. All the things which we are going to exchange with others are considered as communication. And the benefit of communication, first is it enhances our ability to learn. A good communication skill helps us observe information. Next is about helps to build relationship. Good communication skill helps build good relationship, be they through face to face or over technology. Move on to the last question of the worksheet. Figure out the do's and don'ts for communication. Let's discuss the do's first. First is keep a good body and hand posture. Whenever you are talking to other, then make sure you have a good body and a hand posture. This portrays a confident attitude. A bad body posture conveys a careless attitude that may render your communication ineffective. Second is about confidence. Whenever you are talking to others or to the public, then make sure you are confident enough to convey your passage to the recipient. Now move on to the don'ts. What are the things which we need to keep in mind, that what we have to avoid during communication? First is do not rub your hands, clasp them, or fidget them, because if you are doing so, this indicates that you are nervous. Second is do not make annoying body movement. Annoying body movement like moving your legs, moving your arms unnecessarily, because such actions have a negative effect on the people. So that's it for worksheet number 1, and I hope that you all have understood each and every question in depth now. But if you still have any doubt, you can contact me anytime. Now move on to our next worksheet. Worksheet number 2 and worksheet posted on dated 18th of April 2020. This is a worksheet related with session 2 where we have number of MCQs along with few questions. So let's begin with the very first question of the worksheet. Question number 1. What is an important factor to consider in regards to effective communication? That what are the major factors which we need to consider? First option in this question is having fun. Second option in this is verbal cues. Third option in this is working independently. And fourth option in this is answering only when spoken to. And the correct answer is option D. The important factor to consider in regards to effective communication is we need to answer only and only when we spoken to. When someone asks particular to the person, then the person need to speak until or unless the person need to listen to the sender. Second question in this worksheet is which of the following can be done to improve your communication skills? Option 1 is be a good listener. Option 2, keep your emotions and stress in check. Option 3, understand and empathize with other. And option D, all answers are correct. And the correct answer for this is option D. Because if we need to improve our communication skill, we have to be a good listener, which is option A. And we have a proper control over our emotion and stress, which is in option B. And understand and empathize with other. If we understand others, if we have empathy with others, then only we can improve our communication skills. So the answer is option D. Now move on to the third question. I urge all of you to please listen to the statement and read the statement carefully, because this is the MCQ where we got stuck with number of options, because few of you might think that option A is best suitable, few of you might think that option B is suitable, or option C or option D. So let's understand the statement. Jack, the manager of a bicycle shop, is having trouble motivating his employees. He is not very understanding or empathetic, and his morale is low as well. What should Brad, the owner, do to improve the situation? Now, the problem is with the manager of a bicycle shop who is not so confident and his morale is also low. Then, in this condition, Brad, who is the owner of the bicycle shop, what should he do? Options are A. Fire Jack, B. Send Jack to emotional intelligence training, C. Transfer Jack to another store, and D. leave Jack alone and hope for the best. Among all the options, first mark the right answer. The right answer is B. Send Jack to emotional intelligence training. Because firing Jack is not the solution of the problem. And if they transfer Jack to another store, then the problem will remain the same with the Jack. Last, leave Jack alone and hope for the best. If they leave Jack alone, then it's not a permanent solution of the problem. So better to send Jack to emotional intelligence training. Option B. Question number 4. Having your students give a presentation is a great way to help them work on a particular skill. Which skill is it? Four options are: option A, reading; option B, writing; option C, speaking; and option D, listening. Though all the skills are necessary, but when we are giving some task to a particular student for the particular topic or subject, then the writing skill is the one which is particular and a great way, because first the sender need to jot it down the things, the ideas, the messages, then only he or she can read it, can speak it, or others can listen to it. So option B, writing, is the correct answer for this question. Next is question number 5. A teacher asked several students to enlighten the rest of the class on something that they have written. Which skill is being practiced here? Now, whatever the content written by XYZ student, if teacher asks the students to enlighten the rest of the class, then in this case, option D, listening skill, is being practiced. Out of the 4 skills given as an option, A, reading; B, writing; C, speaking; D, listening, D is the skill which is being practiced here. Move on to our 6th question. Why is it important to have a good communication skill? Now, here in this answer, you can write the benefits of communication skills, because the question is similar. Now, what are the benefits and why is it important to have a good communication skill? Because a good communicator helps to mobilize people to work together. And a good communication skill enables exchange of values and cultures among diverse backgrounds. Move on to the next question, which is about the differentiation among verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Let's understand the answer with verbal communication first. Verbal communication is something where we can use the words from mouth or written words for communication. And in non-verbal communication, we cannot use any writing, we cannot use speaking. We can express our messages or our ideas simply through facial expressions, by touch, by postures, by body language, and hand gestures. So this is the basic difference among the verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Question number 8. Justify how effective communication helps in decision making. Now, in the benefits of effective communication, we discussed about this, that a good or the effective communication helps in better decision making. Because if information is communicated effectively, it enables people to make well considered decisions, thus improving the decision making process. Question number 9. What is meant by communication cycle? Answer for communication cycle is communication is a two-way process in which information is transmitted from sender to receiver. In this process, both the sender and receiver can respond to each other, and this process leads to a cyclic process known as communication cycle, where communication is a well defined and systematic process of sharing information. The communication process begins with the sender who want to transmit the idea or the opinion to the receiver and ends with receiver's feedback. This is the entire or the whole about the communication cycle. Move on to last question of the worksheet. Explain two functions of communication. And to understand the answer, let's begin with some common functions. Communication. As you all know that communication is the glue that binds people together in a community, society or organization. And there are number of functions performed by communication, like communication makes social interaction possible by strengthening old relationships and building new ones. Communication makes it possible for us to engage in business and trade. And it's the communication which allows us to express and share our ideas and experiences with others. So, that's it for the functions of communication, and that's it for today's session. And before I sum up today's session, let me tell you about the worksheets. In this session, I'm not going to give any extra worksheet. What you need to do is take out all the previous worksheets which were you getting at the end of every session and try finding out the solution of every question. And it's a time to say goodbye now. We'll be back with the new session. Till then, take care, goodbye, and have a nice day. And don't forget to revise your chapter thoroughly and revise your topics thoroughly before you are going to attempt online quiz. And all the best for your online quiz.